It's time to hear the truth even the internet turns away from. This is the final part, and it's the creepiest one yet. Let's go. Fact number 101. The letter from underwater. In 1983, on the shore of a small Louisiana town, a boy found a bottle washed up on the sand. Inside was a letter written in shaky handwriting, as if the author had been writing in a rush or in the dark. The paper was damp, its edges eaten away by salt, and the ink had blurred so badly that some words were unreadable. The letter began, "If you are reading this, it means I am already under the water." The author seemed to be a fisherman or sailor. The text mentioned a storm, cold, and faces in the deep. He claimed something was moving under his boat, watching him through the dark water, even though he was in the open ocean. Parts of the message could never be fully deciphered by police or linguists. Only a few sentences remained clear. "They're calling me by name. I can't breathe. I'm going to them." Experts determined the bottle had been in the water for at least 10 years before washing ashore. But strangely, the glass was intact, the cork tightly sealed, and there was almost no mold inside, as if someone had been preserving it. Over the decades, 3 more bottles with similar letters have been found in the same area, all written in different handwritings but containing the same final words, "I'm going to them." Local fishermen now joke that the ocean in these parts is collecting something, but those who have seen the letters themselves believe it's no joke, because in the most recent one, there was a new line, "Soon, you will be next."
Fact number 102. Climber David Sharp died on Everest while dozens passed him by. When someone finally realized he was still alive, it was already too late. Altitude sickness and hypothermia had taken their toll.
Fact number 103. The last guillotine execution in France was in 1977. This happened after the release of the first Star Wars movie, which surprises many people. Fact number 104. One method of execution in ancient Rome was sewing a person into a sack with a live dog, snake, monkey, and rooster, then throwing it into the sea. This punishment, known as pona quai, was used particularly for those convicted of parricide, killing one's own father. Fact number 105. About 25,000 people die of hunger every day, including 10,000 children. And this is not because there isn't enough food in the world, but because of how it is distributed. Worse still, about 1.3 billion tons of food are lost or thrown away every year. Fact number 106. Several European countries once had human zoos. These were small, artificial villages where indigenous people, usually from Africa, were displayed for public amusement, imitating their traditional way of life. Many died in such exhibits. Sometimes they were kept in cages, often naked. In one case, a man was kept in a cage with an orangutan at the Bronx Zoo, presented as an evolutionary link between ape and human. The last human zoo existed in Belgium in the 1950s. Fact number 107. Rarely, but if you crack your neck the wrong way, it can cause a stroke. A sudden or incorrect neck twist can damage arteries that supply blood to the brain, which in some cases results in severe complications or death.
Fact number 108. There is no cure for rabies once the virus has manifested. Rabies has a 99.9% fatality rate, higher than any other disease. The only way to prevent death is vaccination immediately after being bitten or exposed to the virus before symptoms appear.
Fact number 109. King cobras can growl.
Unlike most snakes that only hiss, the king cobra can produce a low, resonant growl, making it even more intimidating.
Fact number 110. Some snake species can make blood clot so quickly it turns into jelly. This happens due to specific toxins in their venom that instantly trigger coagulation, making treatment extremely difficult.
Fact number 111. Squirrels are not herbivores, they are omnivores. They can kill and eat other animals, such as chipmunks or baby birds. While rare, scientists have recorded instances of squirrels attacking small animals for food.
Fact number 112. Starfish digest food outside their bodies. They literally eject their stomachs, release enzymes that digest and liquefy their prey, and then suck it back inside.
Fact number 113. At a cemetery in Vienna, they sell Lego funeral sets. This unusual souvenir can be purchased right at the cemetery. The set includes a miniature coffin, a corpse figurine, and other funeral-themed pieces. Fact number 114. Around 106 billion people have lived on Earth throughout human history. Today, only about 7% of them are alive. The remaining tens of billions are buried or otherwise disposed of, their remains scattered across the planet. Fact number 115. Buried trains of the New York subway. Beneath New York streets lie abandoned subway stations and train cars, left for decades. Some cars still contain passengers' belongings, now coated in dust and mold.
Fact number 116. There are lakes made entirely of sulfuric acid. In certain volcanic regions of Earth, lakes have formed that contain concentrated sulfuric acid instead of water. These places are deadly to humans and most forms of life.
Fact number 117. The serial killer Rodney James Alcala continued to kill people while appearing on a popular American TV show. Fact number 118. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride once had real human skeletons. Disney design engineers examined the artificial skeletons that were brought in. Initially, they decided that they were not creepy enough. This was perhaps due to the fact that artificial skeletons in the 1960s were not as convincing as they are now. To create a more realistic effect, Disney engineers turned to the anatomy department of the University of California to gradually replace the real skeletons with artificial ones. But many still believe that real skeletons remained on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Number 119. Green mice have bones and even poisonous teeth. These mutated mice are not only unusual in their fur color, but also possess unique anatomy. Their bones are stronger than normal, and their teeth can secrete venom that paralyzes prey. Fact number 120. When a frog vomits, its entire stomach comes out and hangs from its mouth. The frog then pulls out the stomach contents and swallows it again.
Fact number 121. History is full of interesting and creepy treatments. Ancient Egyptians would grind up a pig's eye and mix it with red ochre. They would then pour this mixture into a patient's ears as a cure for blindness. Fact number 122. When Peter the Great's wife was discovered to be cheating on him, Peter I killed her lover. He made his wife keep her lover's head in a jar of alcohol in his bedroom. The head is still kept in the Kunstkamera Museum in St. Petersburg.
Fact number 123. Since the 1950s, 6 nuclear bombs have disappeared without a trace.
Fact number 124. Statistically, men are more likely to be killed by strangers on the street, while women are more likely to be killed by relatives at home.
Fact number 125. Wes Craven's film, A Nightmare on Elm Street, is based on a true story. Director Craven said that the inspiration for the iconic slasher film came from a story he read in a newspaper. A boy, tormented by anxious nightmares, was unable to sleep for several days out of fear. He died in his sleep from exhaustion, but only after calling for help in the middle of the night because of his nightmares. Fact number 126. There is Capgras syndrome, where you feel that all your relatives and friends have been replaced. This syndrome can be experienced by a perfectly healthy person under the influence of illegal substances.
Fact number 127. Pandas eat meat. About 2 million years ago, giant pandas almost completely switched to a vegetarian diet. Almost, but not quite. In fact, the structure of their digestive tract is more like that of a predator than an herbivore. Therefore, when the opportunity arises, pandas may well feast on meat. They catch small rodents or tear a piece from the prey of other predators. Moreover, when zoologists catch pandas, they use a piece of meat as bait.
Fact number 128. Gummy candies are made from bones. This is a fairly well-known fact, but there are still people whom it shocks. Yes, gelatin is made from animal bones. At one time, French chemist Jean Darcy invented a method for producing gelatin in order to use it as a cheap food product in charitable institutions. So jelly and marmalade are, in essence, a meat dish, and vegetarians cannot eat them.
Fact number 129. Priests from the Inca tribes believed that children's tears could stop a drought. Inca priests believed in the power of human sacrifice, and many of their rituals involved sacrificing women and children to serve their sun god and the entire earth. When a drought came, the priests sacrificed children because they believed that their tears could cause rain. Fact number 130. Well, anyone who has ever been on a ride, especially a steep roller coaster, is familiar with that strange sensation in the stomach. In fact, it's your internal organs shifting, especially those that are not fixed by ligaments, such as the intestines. Fact number 131. Ghost on board the Queen Mary. The ocean liner Queen Mary, now docked in California, is infamous for dozens of ghost sightings. Guests and staff report figures in vintage uniforms walking the decks and footsteps echoing in empty hallways. Fact number 132. The White Lady of Hohensalzburg Castle. In Austria's Hohensalzburg Castle, witnesses often see a woman in a white dress gliding through corridors. Legend says her appearance foretells the death of someone in the city. Fact number 133. If you don't let a person sleep, they will die from lack of sleep sooner than from exhaustion.
Fact number 134. Men can produce milk. And this is a much more common occurrence than it seems. Most men are just ashamed to admit it. Lactation can be caused by starvation. This was observed in concentration camp prisoners when they were first fed after several weeks of hunger. Fact number 135. The birth canals of women in the era of Louis XIV were severely narrowed. This meant they had to endure perhaps the most painful childbirth on the planet. In this regard, in 1780, during childbirth, a part of the pelvic bone was sawed off with a chainsaw to facilitate this process. Fact number 136. There are no pain receptors in the brain. Therefore, people can stay awake and calmly talk to doctors while they perform an operation on their head. Fact number 137. In very rare cases, what can be mistaken for a normal runny nose is actually cerebral spinal fluid the brain is releasing to lower pressure. Fact number 138. In preparation for your surgery, one of the first things they do is clean your belly button,
as up to 67 types of bacteria can accumulate there. Fact number 139. The elevator ghost. In a Tokyo office building, surveillance cameras captured an elevator frequently stopping at empty floors and opening its doors to reveal a pale female figure standing there.
Fact number 140. People produce more earwax when they are stressed, and this stress-related earwax smells much worse than usual.
Fact number 141. The water you drink has most likely already been inside someone or something else.
Fact number 142. If someone sneezed in your face, they launched germs at you at a speed of 160 kilometers per hour. A cough, by comparison, isn't so bad, only 100 kilometers per hour.
Fact number 143. A geomagnetic storm occurred in the 1800s, caused by solar activity. At the time, telegraphs worked on their own without electricity. If this happens again, it will destroy all our and other electrical equipment. It is called the Carrington event.
Fact number 144. If you are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease at age 65, it means you have been suffering from it since at least age 40, and you experienced very mild symptoms but just didn't notice them. Your brain was struggling to compensate for the deficit. By the time you are diagnosed, your brain has already been very badly damaged.
Fact number 145.
When the atomic bomb was created, the leading scientists had to calculate the flammability of the Earth's atmosphere. They were sure that the explosion would not ignite the atmosphere. When the first atomic bomb was detonated, the scientists never answered this question. And we know that this problem is not a problem for our planet.
Fact number 146. The dark age of the universe will come. When all star fuel disappears and all white dwarfs become cold, they will become dark, and all black holes will evaporate into elementary particles, and so the universe will become a cold, dark place forever.
Fact number 147. The Mariana Trench is so deep that Everest will fit in it. Even if you stand on its peak, there will still be a ton of space above your head to the ocean's surface. Fact number 148. The Northwest Pacific Coast Subduction Zone is 965 kilometers long, and it has been delaying an earthquake of magnitude 8.8 to 9.2 for about 70 years, and nothing on this coast will be able to withstand it. Since the time of contact with Europeans, there have never been strong earthquakes on this coast, as the last major earthquake occurred in 1700. Unlike Japan, where a similar earthquake occurred in 2011, the northwest of America is not ready for this, and the buildings here are not ready for what will happen. Soon, Vancouver, Portland, and Victoria will be pushed 2 meters inland. They will shake violently for 5 to 7 minutes, and then a 30-meter-high tsunami will hit them. According to forecasts, the earthquake will kill tens of thousands of people, displace millions, and cause trillions of dollars in damage. This is the second largest humanitarian disaster in North American history, second only to Haiti, and it seems that everyone around is just pretending that this won't happen.
Fact number 149. Viruses cannot be classified as living organisms. Nevertheless, they act as if they are fully aware of their surroundings and evolved to adapt to them. They act as if they have a brain, but these are just nucleic acids.
Fact number 150. Bananas are radioactive. Yes, your favorite fruits emit radiation because they contain potassium-40. In nuclear energy, there is even a joking term, banana equivalent, when radioactive sources, for a clear analogy, are compared with the dose contained in a regular banana. But you don't have to worry, as the radiation level in them is so insignificant that it cannot lead to either radiation sickness or mutation. By the way, in addition to bananas, potatoes, beans, nuts, and sunflower seeds have a higher than average radiation level. Fact 151. You smell molecules that have entered your nose. For example, if you walk into a public restroom and smell the unbearably disgusting aroma of a freshly piled up heap, just know that the molecules of this substance are floating in the air, and when they enter your nose as you breathe, you smell this stench. And this applies to any other smell.
Fact number 152. There are more bacteria on our hands than on any other part of the body. The exact number is difficult to calculate, but it is a known fact that there are about 300 different species. Among them are bacteria, viruses, and the simplest microorganisms. Most of them are symbionts that do not harm humans in any way.
Fact 153. Koalas can transmit chlamydia. These cute creatures that look like teddy bears carry quite dangerous diseases in the wild. So if you're walking in a reserve abroad, for example on vacation in Australia, and you see one of these cute bears, you shouldn't approach it, as it may mistake you for a predator. It can also transmit its waste product, as koala urine contains chlamydia, which causes the well-known STD chlamydia. And then try to explain to your girlfriend that you just didn't get along with an animal in the park.
Fact number 154. Gamma rays can destroy humanity at any moment. For some time, all of humanity's attention was focused on the topic of the coronavirus, which was steadily capturing more and more territories. And while it was possible to learn about its spread, it is impossible to know when gamma rays will hit the Earth. They are emitted in huge quantities during supernova explosions. By the way, this phenomenon happened in the recent past by Earth's history standards, about 2.6 million years ago. A star located somewhere 150 light-years from our planet exploded, and according to scientists, could have been the cause of an extinction event. So we are already in a catastrophic nightmarish scenario.
Fact number 155. Testicles are very fragile. It's even painful to write about this, but they can be crushed with due diligence. Yes, doing it by hand will be difficult, but it is possible. That is, in the future, your girlfriend, who has strong hands, after another quarrel, can grab you by the most valuable and, applying maximum effort, crush them. By the way, too much pressure even leads to the tearing of the testicles. It can well kill you. The fact is that with such pressure, the body releases a huge amount of adrenaline, because the only thing it thinks about is running away from the cause of the pain as quickly as possible. This can lead to a heart attack. Often, a ruptured testicle occurs due to a strong impact to the groin area in a motorcycle or bicycle accident. This is another reason to be as careful as possible and follow traffic rules.
Fact number 156. Teeth can grow outside the mouth. Tumors are diverse, and among them, teratomas stand out, which are most often found in the ovaries, in the sacrococcygeal region, and in the brain. The main difference is that these tumors are not typical for the tissue localization areas where they may contain hair, muscle tissue, bones, teeth, and even limbs, eyes, or a body. There is a hypothesis according to which a teratoma is considered an extremely underdeveloped parasitic Siamese twin that appears due to a lack of coordination in the relationship between the stem cell and its microenvironment at one of the stages of embryogenesis. Fact number 157. Eyes don't turn red in the pool because of chlorine. Many people think that skin and eye irritation after a pool is due to the well-known disinfectant chlorine. But in fact, chlorine binds with urine, or more precisely with the nitrogen contained in it, and forms chloramine. This substance is what causes the irritation. So if you feel that your skin is red and dry and your eyes are itchy and watery, you should change the pool to another one, as people regularly urinate in this one in large quantities.
Fact number 158. The Earth is littered with corpses. It's unpleasant to know that your house is built on some ancient burial site or is located near a current cemetery. But why think about that if in fact our planet is a gigantic, continuous burial ground? The Earth's population has calculated that about 106 billion people have lived on it, and at the moment, only about 7% of that number are alive. The remaining tens of billions are resting in the ground or buried in any other way and are scattered throughout the territory of our planet. Fact number 159. The Sussex Ghost Train. In the UK, there's a legend about a ghost train appearing on the Sussex line only once every few years. Witnesses claim that inside the empty cars, they hear screaming and smell burning. Fact number 160. Ghost in the village of Macton, Indiana. For decades, residents of tiny Macton village have spoken of a woman in a nightgown appearing outside windows. Those who approached her saw her vanish into thin air, leaving behind the scent of rotting flowers. Fact number 161. Real case of a deadly dream. In the 1990s, a U.S. man refused to sleep after a nightmare, claiming, "Something will kill me in my dreams." On the third night, exhaustion overcame him, and he was found dead without signs of violence. Fact number 162. The lake that takes people. Lake Lanier in Georgia is infamous for dozens of drownings every year. Locals believe spirits of the flooded town beneath its waters pull swimmers under. Fact number 163. The Crying Spirit Bridge. In Blue County, Oklahoma, there's an old bridge where children's cries can be heard at night. Legend says a mother and child drowned here, and their souls still cry for help. Fact number 164. Fort Worth Prison and Cell 11. In the abandoned Fort Worth Prison, former guards tell of Cell 11, where banging and knocking were heard at night, even though it had been empty for years. Fact number 165. The miner's ghost in Pennsylvania. In a long-abandoned Pennsylvania mine, workers hear footsteps and coughing deep underground, though the mine has been closed for decades. Fact number 166. Missing in the national park. Every year, dozens of people vanish in U.S. national parks without a trace. In some cases, their belongings are found neatly arranged, but the people are gone. Fact number 167. The Amityville House. In 1974, a man in Amityville, New York, shot 6 members of his family. A year later, new residents fled, claiming the house was filled with sinister voices and shadows. Fact number 168. The Phantom Hitchhiker. For decades, drivers in North Carolina have picked up a girl in a white dress who soon vanishes from the car, leaving the seat cold and damp. Fact number 169. The Shadow in the Hospital. On the outskirts of Michigan, deep within an overgrown park, stands an abandoned psychiatric hospital. It's been closed for decades, but inside remain peeling walls, rusted beds, and the smell of dampness mixed with something metallic, almost like blood. At night, only 2 guards patrol the building. Their job is to check the long hallways and make sure no thrill-seeking teenagers or urban explorers sneak inside. But there's one part of the hospital they avoid: the East Wing. That's where, they say, the shadow appears. This shadow isn't a trick of the light. It's massive, vaguely human in shape, but stretched and distorted, like the reflection of a man pulled apart and twisted. It glides along walls and ceilings, bending around corners, sometimes stopping. And when it does, the silence becomes so deep you can hear your own heartbeat.
One guard claimed he saw the shadow peel itself away from the wall and step into the corridor as if it had become three-dimensional. It was taller than any human, and where its face should have been was nothing but a void. He tried shining his flashlight on it, but the light simply vanished, swallowed whole. Old nurses who once worked here say the East Wing held the isolation ward for the most dangerous patients. One of them died under mysterious circumstances, screaming that his shadow is leaving him and wants to live its own life. Since then, the shadow has roamed the hospital, and the guards know, if it stops right in front of you and ceases to move, leave without turning your back. Because those who see its face never walk out of the building again.
Fact number 170. The cursed Pavlov Island in Alaska. Somewhere in the cold waters of Alaska lies Pavlov Island, a tiny patch of land shrouded in legends and fear. Local fishermen have avoided it for centuries. Those few who dared to get close all tell the same story. A thick, heavy fog always hangs over the island, so dense it swallows shapes just a few feet away. They say this island has claimed more lives than any storm or iceberg. Boats here sink without warning. Calm seas, clear skies, and suddenly the vessel tilts and vanishes beneath the waves, as if dragged down by something massive and unseen. Survivors claim that just before the water closed over them, they heard screams. Not ordinary screams, but the desperate cries of drowning people echoing as if carried from deep within the fog. An old fisherman from Cordova once told of seeing shadowy figures walking across the water toward his boat. They made no footsteps, yet the fog stirred around them like something alive. When he tried to start his engine and flee, his hands went numb, and from below came a drawn-out whisper, "Stay." Locals believe Pavlov Island stands where an ancient settlement once was, swallowed by the sea during a massive earthquake. All the villagers died that night, and their souls now wander the mist, luring the living to join them. Today, the island isn't marked as dangerous for navigation, but ask any old fisherman, and he'll swear, once you hear the first scream from the fog, there's no way back. If you made it all the way, you've got nerves of steel. Share this video so others can know the truth. And don't forget to subscribe. The darkness is just beginning.